Welcome back. What we are going to do in this episode is take our file that we exported from our house mapping. We are going to import that file or open it up into Photoshop as the program, and we are going to be cleaning up the file so that way it can be ready for our mapping. And by cleaning up, what I mean is connecting all the lines together, clearing out the spaces, clearing out the overlaps, clearing out the little pieces that we might have overlooked as we were doing our mapping of the house. So let's begin. To start off, what I'm going to do, I'm going to look over here at these circle images because you can see that they overlap the gutter. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit just to get us started. And then I'm going to go over to white, make sure I have white, and double check your hardness. Make sure your hardness is all the way set to 100%. You won't need it to be too big. We'll kind of resize it as we go. So going to zoom in down here, and you can see that it overlaps in this area. Let me shrink that down. It overlaps in this area. So you could sit here and just try to like bring it and get it as close as you can to that line. It will work. Faster is to just grab this tool over here, pull the sample, and then hit delete. Once it hits delete, then you can go over and paint it white if you want to do that. In fact, you could even do it without hitting delete. Once you hit your escape or get out of there, then you might see little extra lines there. Just take your paintbrush, clean that up. You don't want any artifacts left behind. So I'm going to do that to my next one over here. I'm going to select. I'll even hit this one too while I'm at it by holding shift, and then I'm going to go to my paintbrush. I'm going to paint across, get everything in there. I'm going to click on out of it and then clean up the artifacts that were left behind. All right, scroll over a little bit, clean up the artifacts that were left behind. Now, another thing that you might want to do as you are cleaning up is to take a look at where things might have overlapped. So if you remembered from the front of my house, I have columns that go down, but this roofing line from my back roof, or the back section there, cut right across my column. So I'm just going to clean that column up. I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to try to get as close to that line as I can. Wiggling back and forth, you can click a couple times, and then you'll see that that column is now totally complete. Down at the bottom, I have a lot of little issues right down here. So I'm going to zoom in nice and close. I'm going to clean up that tag there, get rid of that one, get rid of this one because that's where the bottom of my porch is. And then everything looks nice and neat right there. So essentially for the rest of this time, you're just going to be going around and you're going to be clicking and cleaning up all those little extra pieces. You might have to size down a little bit because you really do not want to impact your line or weaken it to a point where it looks like this, where it's kind of grayed out. You want to make sure that that line stays pretty bold. If you notice that your line is pretty grayed out in certain spots, you can just go in and clean it up by taking the black and just kind of going across, making sure that your lines are very pronounced. It will make the rest of this work a little bit easier. So the more time you spend actually cleaning up, the better it would be. So let's take a look at this corner of my garage. You can see that it is semi-connected, but just needs a little bit of cleaning up. So I have black here. I'm just going to roughly kind of clear up that space. It kind of added a little gray up here, so I'm just going to shrink down my brush size a little bit more so that way it doesn't add all that extra to the outside. Alright, so I'm not going to waste your time, but really the rest of this you're just going to be going through and kind of cleaning up your lines. If you have any questions, please feel free to add those into the comments. And the next video, what we are going to be doing is taking a look at the masks in Photoshop. So the masks that we will create will enable us to start doing the layering effects in After Effects. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me for this episode. I hope this one is an easy one for you. Take a little time, do a good job on this because it will make the mask process a lot easier. So once again, you're going to try to get rid of those overlaps so you have nice clean pieces. You're going to be looking in and getting rid of any little tags. The garage doors have a lot of issues. So trying to get rid of any little tags that are overhanging like this one here. And you are going to try to make sure that you have all your connections made. If you don't have a connection made when you get into the masks, what will happen it will bleed in. It's an easy fix because you'll be in Photoshop, but the more work you do here, the better it will be. Thank you again. Please make sure to subscribe or like if you enjoyed this. If you do have any questions or if you have an easier way that you might want to suggest to me, please add that into the comments or reach out to me. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you.